Earth had always been a quiet planet, tucked away in a corner of the galaxy. For centuries, humans looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone. But one day the answer came, not with a whisper, but with a roar. It started early in the morning. People all over the world woke up to strange lights in the sky. At first, some thought it was a meteor shower, or maybe even a trick of the weather. But as the sun rose, the truth became clear. Giant alien ships, massive, sleek, and glowing faintly, had surrounded Earth. They floated silently above the atmosphere, blocking every possible way out into space. The news spread quickly. Phones buzzed with alerts, and social media exploded with videos of the ships. Governments scrambled to respond, but no one knew what to do. The aliens called themselves the Veilith Dominion. Through a broadcast sent directly into every device on Earth, their leader spoke in a cold, mechanical voice. "Humans," the voice said, "your reckless experiments with dangerous technologies threaten the balance of this galaxy. Until we are certain you can act responsibly, your access to space will be restricted." Restricted. It sounded almost polite, but the reality was far from it. The Veilith didn't just block space travel. They cut off satellites, disrupted communications, and made it impossible for any human-made object to leave the planet's orbit. Their message was clear. Earth was under quarantine. Fear gripped the world. People gathered in streets, staring at the sky, unsure of what would happen next. Some prayed, others panicked. Conspiracy theories flooded the internet. Was this an invasion? Would the aliens attack? No one had answers. In Washington, D.C., Dr. Elena Vasquez sat in her office, watching the chaos unfold on TV. A brilliant astrophysicist, she had spent years studying how to explore space faster and farther than ever before. Her latest project involved something called quantum propulsion, a technology that could revolutionize space travel. But now, with the blockade in place, her work felt useless. Elena wasn't ready to give up, though. She stared at the screen showing the massive alien ships. "There has to be another way," she muttered to herself. Her phone rang. It was Captain Marcus Kane, a former astronaut turned military advisor. He had worked with Elena on several space missions in the past. "Did you see them?" Marcus asked without greeting. "Yes," Elena replied. "This changes everything." "They're too advanced for us to fight," Marcus said grimly. "Our ships are toys compared to theirs. If we try anything aggressive, we'll lose." "I know," Elena said. She paused, then added, "But fighting might not be our only option." Marcus hesitated. "What do you mean?" "I've been thinking about something, an old discovery I heard about years ago. Something buried deep in Antarctica. If my memory serves me right, it could be exactly what we need." Marcus frowned. "Antarctica? You think whatever's there can help us get past those ships?" "It's worth a shot," Elena said firmly. "We don't have much time." As they ended the call, Elena leaned back in her chair. Outside her window, the alien ships loomed like dark clouds. Humanity's future depended on finding a solution. And soon. For now, Earth was trapped. But Elena refused to believe it was hopeless. Somewhere out there, hidden beneath ice and snow, lay a chance to break free. The next morning, Dr. Elena Vasquez and Captain Marcus Kane boarded a small aircraft heading to Antarctica. The flight was long and quiet, but neither of them spoke much. Both were lost in thought, wondering if they were chasing a hopeless dream. When they arrived, the icy winds hit them like a wall. Wrapped in thick coats, they stepped onto the frozen ground. A team of scientists and engineers waited for them near a large drilling site. These men and women had been working here for months, digging deep into the ice after detecting strange signals coming from below. "What exactly are we looking for?" Marcus asked as they approached the group. "Something ancient," Elena replied. "Something that doesn't belong here." The team led them to a massive hole in the ice, surrounded by machines and equipment. At the bottom, buried under layers of snow and rock, was an object unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It was metallic, shaped like a sphere with intricate patterns etched across its surface. The patterns glowed faintly, pulsing with a soft blue light. "This is it," one of the scientists explained. "We found it 2 weeks ago. It's not human-made, not even close. We think it's alien." Helena knelt beside the artifact, her breath catching in her throat. She ran her gloved hand over the glowing patterns. "It's incredible," she whispered. Marcus crossed his arms. "Incredible or not, how does this thing help us get past the blockade?" "That's what we need to figure out," Helena said, standing up. "This artifact might hold the key to advanced technology. Technology far beyond what we have now. If we can understand it, we might be able to build something that lets us escape the Valith fleet without fighting." The team worked tirelessly over the next few days. They scanned the artifact, analyzed its composition, and tried to decode the symbols on its surface. Slowly, pieces of the puzzle began to come together. "It's some kind of map," Elena realized one night as she stared at the data on her laptop. "These patterns aren't random. They're coordinates. And these lines, they look like pathways through space." Marcus leaned over her shoulder. "Pathways? You mean like shortcuts?" "Exactly," Elena said excitedly. "I think this artifact is part of a wormhole generator, a device that creates tunnels through space. If we can recreate it, we could bypass the blockade entirely." But there was a problem. The artifact wasn't complete. Large sections of it were missing, leaving gaps in the design. Without those missing parts, building the machine would be impossible. "We need more information," Elena said. "There has to be another piece somewhere else, something that completes the blueprint." Marcus frowned. "Where do we start looking? This thing is alien. How do we even know where to go?" Elena hesitated. "I don't know yet, but I do know one thing. Humanity's survival depends on finding it. We'll search every corner of the planet if we have to." As they packed up their findings and prepared to leave Antarctica, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. Back at home, tensions were rising. Governments argued about what to do, and protests filled the streets. Some people wanted to fight the Valith, while others believed surrender was the only option. Elena knew neither choice would work. Fighting meant certain defeat, and surrender meant giving up Earth's future. There had to be another way, and she was determined to find it. On the flight back, she stared out the window at the endless white landscape below. Somewhere out there, hidden in Earth's history or buried in its secrets, lay the answers they needed. For now, the blockade still stood, but Elena refused to give up. The artifact was proof that advanced technology existed, and if humans could unlock its secrets, they might just stand a chance. Back in the safety of their lab, Dr. Elena Vasquez and Captain Marcus Kane worked day and night to decipher the artifact's secrets. The glowing sphere sat on a table in the center of the room, its faint blue light casting shadows on the walls. Around them, scientists scribbled notes, engineers tested equipment, and computers hummed with endless calculations. But outside the lab, chaos reigned. News of the artifact had leaked to the public, sparking debates across the globe. Some saw it as humanity's last hope. Others thought it was too risky to trust alien technology. Governments argued about whether to focus resources on building weapons to fight the Valith or to support Elena's project. In the middle of this turmoil, a rogue faction within Earth's military decided to take matters into their own hands. Led by General Ryan Cross, they believed that waiting for Elena's plan to succeed was a waste of time. "We can't sit around while those aliens block our skies," he told his troops. "If we hit them hard enough, maybe they'll back off." Against orders, General Cross launched an attack on the Valith fleet. Dozens of outdated human spacecraft soared into space, firing missiles and lasers at the massive alien ships. At first, it seemed like bravery might win the day. Explosions lit up the sky as some of the smaller Valith drones were destroyed. But then the retaliation came. The Valith fleet unleashed a barrage of energy weapons, so powerful that entire squadrons of human ships were wiped out in seconds. The survivors retreated hastily, leaving behind wreckage that drifted lifelessly in orbit. The attack ended in disaster, with thousands dead and Earth's remaining defenses crippled. To make matters worse, the Valith were furious. They began targeting Earth's satellites, cutting off communication networks and plunging parts of the planet into darkness. Power grids failed, hospitals struggled to function, and panic spread like wildfire. Alina watched the news reports with growing dread. She knew the failed attack would only make things harder for her team. Still, she refused to give up. "We're running out of time," she told Marcus one evening as they pored over the artifact's data. "If we don't finish this soon, the Valith will destroy everything." Marcus nodded grimly. "Then we need to move faster. But how? We're missing half the pieces we need to build the machine." "We'll find them," Alina said firmly, "even if it means searching every inch of this planet." Word of their mission spread quickly, and people from all walks of life stepped forward to help. Miners offered rare metals. Engineers volunteered their skills. Ordinary citizens donated money and supplies. Even children sent drawings and messages of encouragement, reminding the team why they were fighting. One day, a young woman named Priya arrived at the lab. She was an archaeologist who specialized in ancient ruins. "I heard you're looking for clues about alien technology," she said. "There's something you should see." Priya showed them photos of strange carvings found in a cave deep in the Himalayas. The symbols matched the patterns on the artifact. "This could be it," Alina said, her voice trembling with excitement. "It might lead us to the missing parts." With no time to waste, Alina, Marcus, and Priya set out for the Himalayas. The journey was treacherous, with icy winds and steep cliffs making every step dangerous. But when they finally reached the cave, they found what they were looking for: a fragment of another alien device, hidden in the rocks. As they carefully packed the fragment, Alina felt a surge of hope. Piece by piece, they were getting closer to completing the machine. But the cost of failure loomed large. The Valith were watching now, sending probes to investigate Earth's activities. Every moment brought them closer to discovering the lab and ending humanity's last chance for survival. Alina clenched her fists. "We can't stop," she said. "Not now. Not ever." For the first time in weeks, Marcus smiled. "Then let's keep going." Together, they headed back down the mountain, carrying the fragile hope of billions with them. The team returned to the lab with the fragment from the Himalayas. It was small, no bigger than a fist, but its surface shimmered with the same strange patterns as the artifact. Alina carefully placed it near the glowing sphere, hoping it would fit somehow. To everyone's surprise, the moment the fragment touched the sphere, the room filled with a low hum. The blue light grew brighter, and the patterns on both objects began to shift and align. Lines connected, forming new shapes that pulsed with energy. "It's working," Alina exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. The fragment is part of the same system. But their celebration was short-lived. The machine wasn't complete yet. They still needed more pieces to fully activate it. Still, this was progress, proof that they were on the right path. "We need to test it," Marcus said. "See if we can open even a small wormhole." Alina hesitated. "It's risky. We don't know what might happen if we try to activate it now. What if it destabilizes? Or worse, what if the Valith detect us?" "We don't have a choice," Marcus replied firmly. "Time's running out. If we wait too long, they'll find us anyway." After hours of debate, the team agreed to proceed. They moved the machine to a secure underground facility far from the main lab. There, surrounded by thick walls and shielded from prying eyes, they prepared for the first activation. The room was tense as Alina gave the final instructions. "Everyone, stay back. If anything goes wrong, evacuate immediately." With a deep breath, she pressed the button. At first, nothing happened. Then, a faint crackling sound filled the air. A swirling circle of light appeared in front of the machine, growing larger and brighter. The team watched in awe as the wormhole took shape, a shimmering portal that seemed to stretch into infinity. "It's real," Priya whispered, her voice trembling. "We did it." But the joy didn't last long. The wormhole began to wobble, its edges flickering dangerously. Alarms blared as readings showed the energy level spiking out of control. "Shut it down," Marcus shouted. "I'm trying." Elena yelled back, frantically pressing buttons, but the machine wouldn't respond. Suddenly, there was a loud boom, and the wormhole collapsed. The force of the explosion sent everyone flying backward. Smoke filled the room, and shards of broken equipment littered the floor. When the dust settled, the team slowly got to their feet. No one was seriously hurt, but the damage was clear. The machine was partially destroyed, and the fragment from the Himalayas had cracked. "What went wrong?" Marcus asked, brushing debris off his jacket. Elena shook her head. "It's not stable yet. We're missing something critical. Without it, the wormhole can't hold." As they assessed the damage, a new problem arose. Sensors detected an unfamiliar energy signature nearby. Moments later, a group of Valith drones descended toward the facility. "They found us," Marcus growled, grabbing his communicator. "Everyone, get out of here now." The team scrambled to escape, taking whatever data and equipment they could carry. As they fled, Elena glanced back at the ruined machine. Her heart sank, but she forced herself to focus. "We'll fix it," she muttered under her breath. "We have to." Once they reached safety, Elena called an emergency meeting. "The Valith are onto us," she said. "If we want to succeed, we need to figure out what's missing, and fast." Marcus nodded. "There's only one way to do that. We send someone through the next wormhole attempt to see where it leads and find the answers we need." Elena stared at him. "That's suicide. Whoever goes won't come back alive." "Maybe," Marcus said, "but if it saves Earth, it's worth it." For a long moment, no one spoke. Finally, Elena sighed. "Then I guess we'd better make sure it works this time." Despite the failure and the looming threat, the team refused to give up. Piece by piece, they rebuilt the machine, determined to try again. The team worked tirelessly to repair the machine. Days turned into nights, and exhaustion became their constant companion. But they couldn't afford to slow down. The Valith were watching now, sending more drones to patrol Earth's skies. Every moment brought them closer to discovery and destruction. Finally, after countless hours of effort, the machine was ready for another test. This time, however, there would be no room for error. Elena stood in front of the group, her face pale but resolute. "We've fixed the stabilizers," she said, holding up a small device. "If we can maintain the energy flow long enough, we might be able to send someone through the wormhole safely." Marcus stepped forward. "I'll go." "No," Elena protested immediately. "It's too dangerous. We don't even know where the wormhole leads." "That's exactly why I have to go," Marcus replied firmly. "If I can find out what's missing, or where the rest of the machine is, we might finally finish this thing. Besides, if something goes wrong, at least you'll still be here to keep working." Elena wanted to argue, but she knew he was right. Someone had to take the risk, and Marcus was the most qualified person for the job. Reluctantly, she nodded. "Be careful," she said softly. "I will," Marcus promised. The team gathered around the machine as Marcus climbed into a small pod designed to protect him during the journey. The pod was cramped and uncomfortable, but it was their best chance of surviving the unstable wormhole. "Ready?" Elena asked, her hand hovering over the activation button. "Ready," Marcus replied, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. Elena took a deep breath and pressed the button. The machine roared to life, its hum growing louder until it filled the entire room. A swirling circle of light appeared once again, shimmering like liquid gold. The wormhole expanded, pulsing with energy. "Go," Elena shouted. The pod shot forward, disappearing into the glowing portal. For a moment, the room was silent. Then, just as quickly as it had opened, the wormhole collapsed. Elena stared at the empty space where Marcus had vanished. Her heart pounded. Had he made it, or had the journey killed him? Meanwhile, inside the wormhole, Marcus felt like he was being pulled apart and put back together again. Colors swirled around him, and strange sounds echoed in his ears. It was unlike anything he'd ever experienced. When the chaos finally subsided, he found himself floating in a vast, unfamiliar region of space. Stars burned brightly in every direction, some collapsing into black holes while others exploded in bursts of light. In the distance, he saw a massive structure, a glowing sphere that seemed to pulse with energy. As he approached, a figure emerged from the sphere. It wasn't human, or even solid. Made entirely of light, the being radiated an aura of calm and wisdom. "Welcome, traveler," the being said, its voice echoing in Marcus's mind. "You have passed the first test." "Test?" Marcus asked, confused. "What are you talking about?" "The artifact you seek was created by my kind," the being explained. "It is a tool designed to test your species' ingenuity and determination. If humanity can master it, you will prove yourselves worthy of joining the galactic community." "Then help us," Marcus pleaded. "We're running out of time." "The Veilith fear what they do not understand," the being interrupted. "But your true challenge lies elsewhere. To complete the machine, you must unlock the final piece, a secret hidden within your own history." Before Marcus could ask more, the being handed him a glowing shard. "Take this. It will guide you." Suddenly, alarms blared in his pod. The Veilith had followed him through the wormhole and were closing in fast. "I need to go," Marcus yelled. "Then go," the being said. "But remember, the key lies within yourselves." With that, the sphere disappeared, leaving Marcus alone in the void. Using the last of the pod's power, he activated the return sequence. As the violet ships fired on him, he barely managed to escape through a collapsing wormhole. When he returned to Earth, the team rushed to greet him. He collapsed onto the ground, clutching the glowing shard tightly. "I got it," he gasped, "and I know what we need to do next." Elena knelt beside him, tears in her eyes. "Tell us everything." As Marcus began to explain, hope flickered anew. Humanity's greatest challenge was far from over, but for the first time, they had a clear path forward. Marcus lay on a cot in the lab, weak but alive. Around him, the team gathered eagerly, waiting to hear what he had discovered. Elena sat closest, her eyes fixed on the glowing shard he held in his hand. "It's not just a piece of the machine," Marcus began, his voice hoarse but steady. "It's a clue, a key to unlocking the final step." He explained everything: the strange region of space, the glowing sphere, and the being made of light. "It told me the last piece isn't out there somewhere. It's here, on Earth, hidden in our own history." Elena frowned. "Our history? What does that mean?" "The being said humanity already holds the answer," Marcus replied. "We just need to find it." It mentioned something about creativity, unity, and collective effort. The room fell silent as everyone processed his words. Finally, Priya spoke up. "What if it's talking about us? About how humans work together when we're at our best?" Elena nodded slowly. "That makes sense. The artifact responds to energy. Maybe it needs more than just technology. Maybe it needs us. Our ideas, our emotions, our shared will to survive." "But how do we turn that into something the machine can use?" Marcus asked. "I think I know," Elena said, standing up. She walked over to a computer and pulled up a map of Earth. "If we connect people worldwide, not just scientists, but artists, musicians, writers, and ordinary citizens, we might be able to create the energy the machine needs. Creativity sparks innovation, and innovation fuels progress. That could stabilize the wormhole." The idea was bold and risky, but with time running out, they didn't have another option. The team launched a global campaign called Project Unity. They reached out to governments, organizations, and individuals, asking for help. People from every corner globes stepped forward, eager to contribute. Artists painted murals inspired by hope. Musicians composed songs that captured humanity's resilience. Engineers designed new components for the machine, while programmers built software to link everyone's efforts together. Social media buzzed with updates. Hashtags like #OnEarth and #TogetherWeRise trended worldwide. Children drew pictures of stars and spaceships, sending them to the lab as messages of encouragement. Even skeptics who had doubted the project joined in, realizing this was humanity's only chance. As the days passed, the lab transformed into a hub of activity. Screens displayed live feeds of art installations, musical performances, and brainstorming sessions happening across the planet. Every idea, no matter how small, was added to the growing pool of data. Meanwhile, the Valith grew restless. Their drones circled Earth constantly, scanning for signs of rebellion. When they detected increased energy signals coming from the lab, they sent warnings. "This is your final chance to comply," the Valith broadcasted. "Cease all unauthorized activities, or face consequences." But humanity refused to back down. Finally, the day came to activate the machine one last time. The shard Marcus brought back was placed at the center of the device, glowing brighter than ever. Thousands of people gathered around the lab, holding candles, singing songs, and sharing stories. Others tuned in online, their voices streaming directly into the system. Elena stood in front of the controls, her hands trembling. "This is it," she said to the team. "Let's show them what we're capable of." With a deep breath, she pressed the button. The machine roared to life, its hum resonating through the ground. A massive wormhole opened above the lab, shimmering like a second sun. Unlike before, this one was stable, its edges smooth and steady. Cheers erupted from the crowd as the portal pulsed with light. For the first time, humanity had created a way out. But the celebration was short-lived. The Valith fleet descended, weapons aimed at the lab. "They're here," Marcus said grimly. "We did it anyway," Elena replied, her voice filled with pride. "Now it's up to everyone else to decide what happens next." The portal stood open, offering a choice: stay and fight, or leave Earth behind and start anew. The wormhole hung in the sky like a doorway to another world, its shimmering light casting an otherworldly glow over the Earth below. The Valith fleet loomed closer, their massive ships blocking out the stars. Weapons charged, ready to strike. Humanity stood at a crossroads: stay and fight for their home, or flee through the portal to an unknown future. Elena stared at the wormhole, her heart pounding. "This is it," she whispered. "We've given them a choice." Marcus stood beside her, his jaw clenched. Not everyone will agree on what to do. Some will want to stay and defend Earth. Others will see this as our only chance to survive. And he was right. Across the planet, debates raged. News channels broadcast live footage of the wormhole alongside interviews with people from all walks of life. "We can't just abandon Earth," shouted a farmer in Kansas, tears streaming down his face. "This is our home." "It's not about running away," countered a scientist in Japan. "It's about preserving humanity. If we stay, we might lose everything." Families argued. Friends disagreed. Governments struggled to make decisions. In the end, it came down to individual choice. At the lab, thousands gathered to say goodbye or to prepare for battle. Those who chose to leave boarded ships equipped with supplies and technology, ready to face whatever lay beyond the wormhole. Others stayed behind, determined to protect Earth no matter the cost. Among those leaving were Elena and Marcus. "I never thought I'd leave Earth," Elena admitted as they climbed aboard one of the ships. "But if we don't go, we might never know what's out there, or how it could help us save our planet. And if we stay, we might not survive long enough to find out." Marcus added. As the first wave of ships approached the wormhole, the Valith opened fire. Explosions lit up the sky, but the humans didn't falter. Ship after ship passed through the portal, disappearing into the unknown. Back on Earth, those who remained rallied together. Armed with makeshift weapons and sheer determination, they prepared to face the Valith invasion. "They'll regret messing with us," said a young soldier, gripping his rifle tightly. Through it all, the wormhole remained open, a symbol of hope and sacrifice. By the time the last ship had passed through, millions of humans were already on their way to a new frontier. On the other side of the wormhole, the travelers emerged into a breathtaking region of space. Stars glowed brighter here, and planets orbited twin suns. It was beautiful and completely unfamiliar. "This is it," Elena said, gazing out the ship's window. "Our new beginning." But the journey wasn't over. They would need to build colonies, explore this strange galaxy, and learn how to thrive in an alien environment. Challenges awaited them, but so did opportunities. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the Valith hesitated. They had expected resistance, but not the ingenuity and bravery they witnessed. Instead of attacking further, they sent a message. "Humans, you have proven yourselves capable of great feats. We underestimated you. Perhaps coexistence is possible." For now, the blockade remained, but the tone had shifted. Humanity had earned a fragile peace and a second chance. Years later, stories of that day would be told around campfires on distant planets and in classrooms on Earth. The wormhole had changed everything. It had divided humanity, but it had also united them in ways no one could have predicted. Elena often looked back at Earth through telescopes, wondering how those who stayed were faring. Marcus, standing beside her, placed a hand on her shoulder. "No matter where we are," he said, "we're still human, and that's something no one can take away from us." Together, they turned their gaze toward the horizon, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The end.